Hey guys, it's Mina, and I know it's really late at night, but I'm kind of bored right now, so I wanted to read you guys a book, and I'm going to read you guys Kathy's Hat. And this is a real life story about a girl who had cancer. And I'm going to get started. When I was born, I was almost bald. My mother tied a tiny green ribbon to my little puff of fuzz. This was my first hat. My second hat was a woolen cap my grandmother knitted. It was flaps that covered my ears, and it came with a pair of matching booties. At the beach, my bonnet kept the sun out of my eyes when I played in the sand. When I was 4, I liked wearing the velvet hat in my dress-up box. It had a veil that came down over my eyes. Hats were fun, and they stood for special times in my life. On Easter, I wore a white straw boater with a blue ribbon around the brim. That was the year I found 17 eggs and a chocolate bunny at the Easter egg hunt. When I started to play tennis, I wore a hat with a eye shade that kept the glare off my face. The day I finally learned to swim, I wore a purple bathing cap. At my first baseball game, my father bought me a program, a hot dog with extra mustard, and a baseball hat. Then one year, something happened to me. It was something that doesn't happen to many children, but it happened to me. That something was a very serious disease. Its name was cancer. Because of the cancer, sometimes I felt sick, sometimes I felt mad, and sometimes I felt scared that I might die. This is kind of the same stuff that I was going through. I had to miss lots of school. I had to go to the hospital to take strong medicine, and the treatment called chemotherapy. I didn't like it when they poked the needle to put the medicine in. I yelled ouch and squeezed my mom's hand real tight. That's how I felt. I didn't like it. When I felt sick from the medicine, it helped me sometimes to draw pictures or watch cartoons. But the worst thing about the medicine was that it made my hair fall out. Little by little, I began shedding, just like my cat Mittens. Soon I was bald again, as bald as when I was a baby. I hated it. My mother bought me lots of hats to cover my head. I wore them, but I didn't like them. I was embarrassed. I felt different from my friends. They had bangs and barrettes and ponytails and curls. All I had was hats. When I got cancer, many things changed for me, even how I felt about hats. Here is my class picture from that year. Annie is the green sweater. She is my best friend. Edward is tall in the back. He got glasses last summer. Adrian is the tiny one in the front at the very end. When Mrs. Hoffman asked us to write a story about wishes, Adrian wished that she would grow. I wish that I had my hair back. Do you see me there in the middle? I'm smiling in the picture, but I'm still not smiling inside. I'm the one in the dumb hat. I complained about my hats a lot. One morning, my mother said that maybe I wasn't wearing the most important hat of all. The most important hat, she said, is something called a thinking cap. A thinking cap is invisible, but is something you would put on to help you think when you are faced with a challenge. My mother said that the most important thing about a person is the way she thinks about things. I thought about what my mother had said while I pinned my teddy bear pin to my shirt. This was something I did every day. My friend Megan had given me the bear on my last birthday. My name was written on it across the bear's fat brown tummy. I thought about how happy the bear looked and what I had just learned about the thinking cap. So I tried something different that morning. I pinned my teddy bear pin to my hat. I thought it might make my hat look happier. It did. Every day, everyone liked my bear on my hat. At Halloween, my friend Kathy gave me a pin of a ghost and a jack-o'-lantern. My friend Kim gave me a ghost and a jack-o'-lantern pin, I put it on my hat. At Christmas, my teacher gave me a Santa Claus pin. When I had to go to a special hospital in Minnesota, my parents got me a pin shaped like the state. In February, the nurses at the hospital where I had radiation therapy pinned a Valentine's Day heart to my hat. Soon I had lots of pins and began to like this hat. I wore it every day to school and for my treatments. Sometimes I even forgot I was bald. We had a celebration in my school last week. My teacher asked my mother to bring in cupcakes, and she told everyone to wear a hat. Almost 2 years had passed since I got sick, and I had some important news to tell. I grinned when I said my chemotherapy treatments were over and the doctors thought my cancer had gone away. Everyone cheered, and then the whole class threw their hats in the air, including me. I always have a thinking cap, but I'm excited about going on to other hats. When I graduate, when I get married, or someday when I pick out hats for my own child, or a child of my own. I'm going to read the author's note, and this won't take very long. My daughter Kathy was 9 years old when she began to complain about pain in her arm, and her doctor recommended an X-ray, and the biopsy confirmed my worst fears. Kathy had cancer, Ewing sarcoma, a rare bone cancer that typically strikes children and young adults. It was then that our family's long struggle with cancer began. Children with cancer are treated with chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, or some combinations of these methods. All these treatments are difficult to undergo, but the good news is that the survival rates for most forms of childhood cancer continue to improve. More than 50% of children with Ewing sarcoma who are without widespread disease as diagnosis can expert long-term disease-free survival. However, cancer challenges not just the patient, but every member of the patient's family. Much the attention that Kathy's brother and sister needed went to Kathy, and sometimes they were resentful. As a working mother and single parent, I was exhausted most of the time, juggling the demands of the home, job, and hospital. But for all of us, the biggest challenge was the coping with our fear that Kathy would die. One night marked turning point where we overheard Kathy comforting her brother, saying, "I'm not going to die. You got to believe that. Believing that will help me more than anything." Like travelers battling fierce storm, we hung on to the treatment schedule to each other and to hope. Kathy continues healthy and happy, having graduated from both high school and college. Her physical and emotional and personal well-being have been the direct result of support and scores of people who have contributed their time, talent, and love to improving the quality of life for all children with cancer. Childhood Leukemia Foundation makes it possible for these special children to embrace our family's message of hope. Hats off to them. Trudy Krischer. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.